Okay, welcome to Beyond the Close podcast. Sharni, good to see you.
Good to see you. Okay, again, all day. Seen you all day.
Every day in the garage office downstairs. Well, it's nice to see you in the podcast studio
Yeah, thank you. Good to be here.
in a new setting.
Yeah.
And our special guest today, Matt Quixley. Welcome to you, Matt.
Hey man, thanks for having me. Good to be here and unpack some stuff with Sharni and yourself.
Good to have
Mate, yeah, and so second time on Beyond the Close.
Yeah, a bit happening, since 8 months ago. So it's been a massive year in the space, and I'm sure we've got a little bit to chat through today. But yeah, it's been big and good to be back and catch up a bit more in person for once, not just over the Zoom.
Yeah, on the other side of the fence now. We'll get into that today.
We will
Sure.
get into that today. We won't talk about how Matt's taller than me, and it's definitely rattled me again. I forgot how tall he was. It's re-rattled me. I like to keep it on Zoom just so we're equal. It's an equal playing field. And that's another reason why I like to sell online.
Yeah, that's another selling point. It's another reason to move into remote sales.
It's much easier to control the frame when people, when you're not shorter
Looking
than
up
people.
to them.
That's all right. Let's get into it. So today we're going to be talking about high ticket sales. Can it be done part time as a side hustle? This is a question we get a lot in our business, in our Facebook group, the Closers Dojo, speaking to people who are exploring getting into remote sales, salespeople who want to transition, and it comes up a lot. Can this be done as a side hustle? So I thought we'd unpack that today. I want to start with, I guess, the reason why people want to do this and as a side hustle. Why might people want to do this as a side hustle? I think some of the reasons that people are looking to do this is part-time is they've got kids. They've got a lifestyle that they want to live and they've got other commitments on, and they're looking for a way to leverage their skills that meet or fits into their lifestyle, and this is one of those things. What are some other reasons, Matt, that you hear on the calls when you speak to some of the potential students?
Yeah, I think they just want to get it right. It can be a bit daunting to make a change. So the time they've been in an industry for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever it might be, I think there's a bit of a fear. And I think it's just smarter to do it part-time. It's sort of the only way to do it. So you've got a high caliber individual in their own right, in their field. Like I said, they could be a mum or dad or study commitments, whatever it might be. So they want to know that it's going to be feasible. So not have to put all their eggs in a basket, make a shift. If it doesn't work out, and they're sort of dropping the ball on their current responsibilities. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons I pick off. So it's just mapping it out. I think sometimes people think, why would someone want me if I'm part-time? It's why wouldn't they want you? So if you've got growing businesses, they might not have the lead flow to have a full-time closer. So it can work out really, really well if you can harmonize that from both sides of a student coming in, high capacity. They might need a little bit of training on the tools to sort of make the shift, but then for a business owner, it could be great. This could be their first closer or setter. They're getting off the tools themselves. It's just, a marriage in harmony, and you could do that for 3 years, 5 years, and it's just, it's better rather than full-time for them can be scary. I don't have the leads. They're going to leave me. They're going to find something better. So a lot of people don't come at it from that angle.
Well, I think you bring up an interesting point, thinking about it from the business owner's perspective. That's what I did want to pull that apart today and look at it not just from a candidate's perspective from, hey, here's what I want, here's what's going to fit me. But I think it could be helpful to explore the reasons why business owners might want or prefer or need part-time employees or part-time salespeople. Now, we've worked with, in our recruitment company, Beyond Closers, we work with lots and lots of high-ticket coaches, agency owners, people who are selling premium price stuff online. And we have a lot of part-time roles. This year we've had a bunch. What are some of the reasons, Sharni, that we, I guess, and some of our clients, some examples that you could give to the reasons why business owners often prefer to have people come on in a part-time or casual or contract basis?
Yeah, so one of them is what Matt's saying. A big one is that it's a growing business. Maybe they've got consistent lead flow, but it's not enough to feed a full-time income or a full-time capacity sort of person. So that's a big one. As they grow, it kind of gives a little bit more flexibility. The other one that's quite big, and it really does depend on the business, but another one that is really big is we work with a lot of female founder-led businesses, and a lot of them started as lifestyle businesses. So a lot of them started as, coaching companies so that, the founder just had a baby and they couldn't go back to their corporate career. So they started this coaching business, and it's now grown to like a 7-figure business where they're building out a team. And a lot of those founders have kind of baked into the culture of that business that everyone has the capacity to work part-time and a flexible role because they have children. They have commitments outside of work. So it's not just kind of a sort of mechanical reasoning behind it that like, I've only got X amount of leads. It's like a lot of the founders value that highly personally. And so it becomes kind of the fabric of the makeup of the business. And so they're not only part-time, but they're extremely flexible with allowing you to do other things.
Got
Part
it.
of the culture, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a value that they have, and they want to keep that going through their business.
Yeah.
I think another reason, there's multiple reasons. Companies often are looking for people who have high skills, and they're not worried about the hours.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
care about the hours.
Yeah, I was actually saying, I think I was saying that to you in the car on the way here. A lot of the roles that are full-time in the remote sales space are not a traditional full-time kind of role that you would go and sit at a desk to do 9 to 5 because you're being managed on results. So a lot of my clients come to me and say, now the PD says it's 40 hours a week, but we're not watching the clock. We're not watching their computers. Like if they can get to those results in 3 days, which a lot of my clients have people on their team who work, a longer day on a Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, and then a shorter day on a Friday or whatever works for them. So I think a lot of the time, even if the role is full-time, it looks really different to what a full-time role would look like in an office role.
Yeah, results over hours, and that's a big shift even for people who are coming outside of sales. I think a lot of salespeople in multiple industries are probably used to being managed on results and not time, and probably resent when they are managed on time and the hours that they're spending rather than the results that they're generating. If you're a top performer, you're getting all the deals, but then you've got a manager who's looking at the hours that you're working, even though you're producing. That can be frustrating. And I think it's also role specific. It's very role specific as well. So if you've got sales experience at a level where you can come in and close and deal with inbound leads into your calendar, you just need to open up your calendar and convert at a high level, and you can satisfy the kind of role that people want. And so if you can get the same level of deals in 3 days, 2 days, 5 days, but half days, or a certain number of hours, then business owners are much more sort of focused on that than the hours.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever say no. If you've got like an A grade candidate that can only do part-time versus a B grade candidate full-time, the A grade will get it every day of the week. It's just logistics too, because they want the results, they want that ROI, and you're the safer bet. And a lot of people overlook that too. They think the hours is key, and the word full-time and part-time, it's changing as well. Like you said, it can be 40 hours, it can be 30 hours as well. So it's definitely something you can discuss, and it's rarely a deal breaker. You can have 3 part-timers rather than 1 full-timer, And even part-time as well. I know some of the offers, we work on Kris too, like having someone can cover the night or weekends or something as well, where a part-timer can be attractive. A lot of time people think part-time, it has to fall through the 9 to 5 too, that it can actually work around it.
That's right. So weekends, Saturday, Sundays, if you've just got a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday workforce in a sales team, you find that you get to Friday, and then you realize there's no sales activity happening over the weekend. You don't have appointments being set, you don't have deals being made, and that'll put you behind your projections. So having an out of hours sort of solution is super attractive.
A lot of offers like property as well. Most of the closers on those offers, and setters as well, setters in particular, I find with property offers, they'll work kind of a block in the morning, and then it's quiet through the day. They can't really catch too many people, and then they'll normally log back on and do calls in the evening. And I find that with closers as well. A lot of the closers on property offers will end up working afternoons, mainly because they need to be able to catch mum and dad when they're home after work to be able to both make a decision about an investment property. So
Couple of examples. We've got Nick. So Nick's one of someone we know really well, and he was a candidate we placed 2 days a week. He was earning $20K a month.
Yeah. I mean, he's a bit of an outlier.
He's an outlier. So
well, not
it's
outlier.
Not
he's
usual.
a high performer. I feel like something I was going to mention before was just the importance of when you are part-time to know what you have to be doing off calls as well. Do you want to kind of touch on that a little bit?
Well, yeah. I mean, doing off calls.
So like managing your pipeline effectively.
Yeah, exactly. So, part-time, that sort of stuff can be done in your own time as well.
Exactly.
So part-time, flexible. I think a lot of people are attracted to flexibility as well as working part-time hours. And Nick was able to fit all of that in within 2 days, but he was able to do some replying to messages and things that were popping up sort of during the week.
Yeah, or if you've got like an AI assistant or a virtual assistant, so you're clean cut, you could be willing to invest. Yeah, I'm making $20K a month, but I'm going to allocate, a couple $100 a month to keep me really sharp so it doesn't chew up the rest of my week too. So I think that's like a big factor. And sometimes people don't realize as well. I know we've had a few solo people make the transition lately too. Like the business owner just wants to know the minimum hours you can do. So it's like, hey, I can do 10 hours a week, mornings, nights, weekends, whatever it might be. But then in solar, like you can have all these people that get, no shows or whatever. So if you can open up your calendar too, a lot of people don't realize you can open it up. You just don't want to do it the other way. Like if they think you're there for 20 hours, they don't want to burn leads and waste money. But if you can say, hey, I can do the 10 hours or 15 hours and things go well, or I don't have the kids this week or whatever it is, open that calendar up, and then you might not be 100% full, but you could be 50% full, and you can still make an extra $1,000 there. And then a lot of people overlook that angle too, I guess, from the part-time piece. That has to be very rigid and flat, where business owners, marketing can go really well. It's like, hey, if you want to open up, you can. Or I've been on offers where they'll be like, hey, marketing's crazy. If you want to get double booked, I'll have like a Matt calendar and a Michaela calendar. If I have any no-shows, I'll be jumping on Michaela to get some calls going. So there's a lot of variation even within that part-time of how you set it up too.
That's a really good point. I've met with a lot of candidates who do have kids one week and then not the next. And that if they're coming from a corporate background, they're always a little bit like, oh, I can do Wednesdays, but it's only every fortnight. And I'm like, well, that's great. That's perfect. Like that's perfectly reasonable in the online space, as you say, because you can just open up your calendar, whereas you're not tied to a certain work structure. So I think it gives people an opportunity to make a lot more money as well, because otherwise they would just have to say, I can't do Wednesdays.
And that's it. I think that potentially the distinction is the type of selling. It's because it's inbound. Even setters are dealing with inbound leads and opt-ins. And I think maybe in the B2B real estate, there's so much prospecting. If you're a top line selling agent, you're out there. If you don't have listings, you're out there door knocking. You're doing the work to get a listing. So you can fill 8-10 hours a day every day. And if you're not filling that time, then what are you doing? Because you're not going to last long in real estate. Whereas in high ticket, you're sort of dealing with the leads that are being generated by the business, and you're working at different sort of parts of the funnel. If you're at the top of the funnel, you're still working with inbound leads. But that's probably the distinction at the top of the funnel when we're talking about SDRs, appointment setters. The flexibility there is a lot less, I will say. So if you're coming into high ticket at the bottom of the funnel, there's a much higher likelihood that you'll have a lot more flexibility. Whereas at the top of the funnel, if you're starting out, if you are an SDR, there's a lot of activities you could be filling for the day that companies are looking for. So we've hired setters part-time ourselves, many times. Yeah. And businesses are definitely looking for part-time setters. I think it's more common for a closer to be a little bit more flexible and part-time just in general.
Yeah, I think it's just that skills ladder too. Like if you have a really B2B offer, a highly skilled appointment setter where like the value of that gatekeeper is so much. It could be a $50K deal, and then they have a bit more flexibility versus something like an entry-level setter doing more outbound stuff on like a fitness offer. So and it can be a motivator as you have more skill. Do you want to sit in the trenches and upskill a bit more before getting on an offer, or do you want to learn the ropes where you might have to put a bit more time and they manage you a little bit more likely to be like an employee arrangement, typically less of like a contractor or sort of casual. But then, yeah, that can be sort of the fruits of your labour as you're getting better and climbing the ladder and climbing the funnel, that you can have even more autonomy and sort of setting it up that way.
And the goals that we have, people have different goals when they get into high ticket or they're working in high ticket. Some people, they want to earn the highest amount of money as they can. And it's not about working less for them. It's you can work more than full time. You can work 12-hour days, 15-hour days. If you really want to grind, you open up your calendar 7 days a week. So the work is there if you really want to make good money. And then again, it can be office specific. One of our buddies, Brendan, was doing a lot of grind on the last offer we were on, because that high no-show rates, calendars wide open. You needed to have your calendar wide open to kind of make the money. And so he had it wide, and now he's on an offer where he has a lot less appointments. They have a high show rate, much higher commissions. He's earning the same, probably working half hours.
Yeah. So it can be pretty attractive like that too. You can sort of balance it out and get to the point where people know about you. Like, you got offers coming at you as well, and you have that luxury. Again, I've had people say, hey, are you interested in exploring this or that? And again, it's not like how much time you can give. It's more like the right fit for me and them to add some value, and times against more just the logistics part of it for sure.
One of our clients also, another reason why business owners might want to just have part-time kind of salespeople is because they don't have the capacity to deal with any more sales in their business. And one of our clients
need some account management before they can go too hard. Yeah,
that's it. They don't want to turn up marketing, because they turn up marketing, the back end's going to break. Delivery's going to break. So that's a good reason. And then there's just dozens of businesses that we could talk about, and reps who have been successful at hiring part-time salespeople or kind of contract and been successful in doing that. So what I guess to finish off, do we have any tips on sort of for people out there who are wanting to get into remote sales, high ticket sales, wanting to do it part-time around their lifestyle? What could they do to I guess maximize the chances of getting the right thing?
I think what Matt said is a really good point. Like, you need to have the skill you need to have the skill in general. Hopefully you've got the skill, because, we don't want you burning leads. But the more skillful you get, the more desirable you are in this space. And as we've kind of been talking about, like, most business owners, all of the business owners really, because of the nature of the way that they do their marketing, can find a spot for the right person. It can generally be on your terms if you are highly skillful.
Phil Pitch, good example. BAI.
Yeah.
I decided that it was I mean, that team, we put a great team together. We had a few people drop off, and I was like, there's no way I'm hiring a part-timer. I need a full-timer. I want someone who's all in. They've got to be all in. Then I met Phil, and he's like, I've got this many hours. I'm like, dude, when can you start?
Sign me up.
When can you start? And just, I knew that I would give him X amount of calls. We get this many deals done. He was an absolute pleasure to work with in the time that we had him.
Yeah.
And so, competency, capability, track record. If you've got those things, great. You will be able to get a part-time role anywhere. If you don't have that, then we need to go find a business owner who is seeking, or who has a limit with how many leads they've got, or has a limit to how much capacity they've got at the back end.
You'd be surprised. Like, there are a lot of people who we speak to who are in the early stages of their business, and they want to engage with beyond closers, and maybe they don't have capacity to work with a recruiter, but they need someone part-time or casual, and they don't know where to find them. So if you can go and find these business owners and like make some connections, it's super powerful. Most of them need help with sales. Like, most business owners are doing it themselves. So if you knock on their door and say, hey, I'm happy to take some calls for you.
Yeah, it's a try before you buy on both ends. Hey, I'm hopefully got part-time bandwidth. I want to try it. I've been thinking about a side hustle for 6 months. Can I give it a shot? It's minimum 10 hours a week, blah, blah, blah. This week I have kids, this week I don't, or I'm FIFO, or whatever it is. Minimum you can do per week, or how much per month. They want to try you out to make sure you're going to work, and vice versa. And if it goes really well, it'll lead to a long-term relationship. So that's what I'd say to your point, Kris, is just what's the minimum time you can do, as long as it's at least 5-7 hours a week, and committing to it as a career, like the actual work. So if you get a no-show rather than just like, watching TV, it's like, no, you've committed that to the career. You're going to go through call reviews. You're going to put education into yourself. You're going to get to know other setters on the team or closers. So having minimum time to commit to over like 12 months to give it a proper go. And some of that we prospecting with businesses like Sharni said as well. And then lock it in. And if things go really well, it's like, cool, best case scenario, I can do 20 hours this week, minimum's 10. You can just navigate from week to week, and that's where you start. And within a couple of months, you'll know if you do want to go all in or leave it. It's not for me, but like it's just cool that you can try it. It's not you got to pay $100,000 or sign a lease or you sign your life away. It's like literally got some communication skills, some desire, bit of education, build out your shop front, like you guys sort of say, and give it a crack.
Okay, team, thanks for the chat. Awesome insights. I think there's a lot of value here for people who are looking to break into the space or get into a part-time role. So yeah, let's jump into the next. I'll see you on the next episode.